My name is Janine Regan-Sinclair. Welcome to my Thursday evening live. So today I'd like to talk to you about manifesting and why I don't buy into the law of attraction manifesting practices that people are learning to do and using in their life. And the reason for it is when you go into manifesting something, usually you're coming from your lower ego. You haven't sat and meditated and connected with your higher consciousness and asked if this is the right thing for me, and so on and so forth. So we're manifesting from a lower ego. And plus, when you go into manifesting, you're going into creation. Well, we live in a duality matrix, unless you're completely neutral. So when you're creating, there has to at some point come in destruction to cancel that out. When we're in neutrality, when we're in the middle, we're sailing down the bliss zone. We're not creating or destroying, we're just being. And when you're being, your higher consciousness knows exactly what you want. And instead of manifesting and using your manifesting energy, which takes psychic energy, to at some point for that to be balanced out with creation destruction, which is polarity, you're in the middle, you're in the neutral zone, you're in the bliss zone, your higher self is manifesting what you need and you don't lose it because it's just flowing in that bliss zone down the middle lane. So it's important to understand about manifesting what you want in your life consciously, like getting into that space, feeling it, visualizing it. All of that stuff uses energy. So you're using energy that could be used if you were being neutral, automatically manifesting for you to push and control, create, which is actually depleting you of the energy that you need to create with if you were in the bliss zone. So by going into creation, you're also going into destruction because the one cancels the other out. This is something that throughout my career of the last 20 years, I used to teach a long time ago and I taught before, people would say to me, why don't you do a video about manifesting? And it just didn't resonate with me. It was like something inside me said, no, don't go down that road. There's no need to, and I didn't do it. And eventually I realised why. And I read a book that said, when we're manifesting, we're coming from our lower ego. Generally, how many of you out there, if you have manifested, have tapped into your higher self, your higher consciousness, and asked, what do I need to manifest? What's the right thing to manifest? No, we go in, we go, I want this, I want that, I want, it's usually materialistic. Sometimes people will try and manifest good health and things like that, but generally it's materialism, which the wisest souls on the planet have realised that materialism is the biggest problem we have on this planet. Greed, materialism has created a world that is producing and producing and producing and consuming and consuming and consuming. And if you watch the documentary on Netflix called Buy Now, The Shopping Conspiracy, 1 billion clothing products are made every year. 1 billion clothing products, just think about that. They end up in landfill. Then think about everything else that we're consuming: electrical goods, makeup, plastics, furniture, televisions, phones, all of these things. Where are they ending up? You might want to go and watch that documentary because it's shocking how much junk is getting thrown into landfill and into the oceans, and the conspiracy behind pretending that that stuff is recyclable and that it's being recycled in a way that's healthy for humanity and the planet, because that's not the case. And we need to wake up to it. And the other thing that I'd like to share is be very careful of people telling you that you can just delete programs in your reality matrix. Delete this, delete that, just clear and cancel, clear and cancel. These are other things that I've been seeing people doing. Those of you that know me know that I stopped doing all the lives on Instagram, it's a year ago actually, because I didn't feel comfortable with the energies that were coming through these platforms, and I feel they've been infiltrated. But when you're using your energy to delete programs, you're using your manifesting energy. You need it, and if you want to delete major programs in the system, then you need major amounts of energy to do that. Most human beings have not got that capacity or anywhere near it. So when you do delete something or say cancel and clear, you're using energy to change a software program in your reality matrix. That energy is your manifesting energy, so be careful. Plus, if you're walking around all day and somebody said to you, yeah, you can just delete any programs you want, you're going, oh, delete this, delete that, delete the other. Where's that coming from? It's coming from your lower ego. Most of them won't be deleted because you depleted yourself of the energy on the first one you deleted. These things can be done, but as we evolve, our energy field, our aura gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The more we heal, the more of the old programs we switch off, our higher self switches on the next layer of our aura, and we get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually fully enlightened people are the size of infinity, and that takes a lot of work. But even when you have expanded your energy field to the next level, and by the way, you need to let your higher consciousness, the universe, know I accept this level before you move on to the next one. When you're expanding, you need energy to maintain that expanded energy field. I've spoken before about, imagine a hermit crab. So a tiny hermit crab, small shell, and then the crab grows, it evacuates that shell and it goes and finds another empty shell and it crawls into that, so they've got a bigger shell. And that's how its life cycle goes on. Well, it's just very similar to us, but that crab has to develop more strength and more energy and more muscles to be able to carry that big shell around. And it's the same for us, and this is why the expansion of the energy field, the evolution of your mind, your consciousness, mind, body and spirit needs meditation. Because when you're in that meditation, you're bringing in that energy from no mind, from source, from creator, from one, God, call it what you will, into that field to maintain that level of consciousness. So it's, I wouldn't say unwise, because I don't want to sound like I'm judging people, I'm not. It's half of the information. When people are saying, you can just delete it, just cancel it. You have to replenish the energy that you're using when you delete and cancel things. That comes through meditation, that comes from maybe breathing, the breathing exercises I used to teach on my Instagram channel, and pulling up the energy, not just pulling the energy in from source, but pulling up the energy of Mother Earth and connecting the two together, the prana from Mother Earth. It's all manifesting energy. So before you jump into going, oh, I'm going to do that because you heard somebody say it on social media, it would be wise to learn to meditate, to learn to connect to your higher consciousness and say, is this something that I am capable of doing? And finding out how you replenish your psychic energy in order for you to use that energy to delete programs in your matrix, in your consciousness, in your field. It's not just as simple as saying, I delete it. So there's a lot of, it's not misinformation, but it's not the full picture of information that's going on and going around on social media and things like that at the moment. So getting into a routine of, when you're waking up in the morning, setting your intention for the day. If you're self-employed and you've got clients, asking for, setting your intention that your clients are going to be great, easy to work with, they're going to be appreciative, and not just leaving it wide open. Set your intention, connecting to your higher consciousness. I ask that my thoughts, words and deeds are guided by my higher consciousness throughout the day. And just being aware that you are the programmer of your day. but not all of it. Your higher consciousness is in the driving seat. We're spirit in a body being guided down certain roads by our higher self, higher consciousness, higher mind. We have to experience certain things. We haven't got 100% control. Not at all. That's a delusion. Free will is a delusion. We think we've got free will and we can make some choices, but if we want to choose this, and this, and our higher self, higher consciousness thinks, no, you're not ready for that, then you're not getting that. And that's where the law of attraction and manifesting doesn't always work for people. There can be many other reasons for that as well. It may be, in certain circumstances, that you agreed not to make a lot of money until you reached a certain level of consciousness, until you've got your next layer of hermit crab shell to carry around. So it's much more complex than people think. So if you are having problems with the law of attraction, there's things to look into. There could be something in your Akashic records that's holding you back. There could be an agreement that you made that you're not going to become wealthy until you're fully enlightened, and things like that. It could be curses, hexes, spells. All of these things exist. Black magic was rife across the world, particularly in Europe between the 13th and the 14th and the 17th century, 13th to 17th century. For 400 years it was being practiced. All of those things have left remnants and memories and imprints in our energy field. So there's a lot more to manifesting, to not manifesting, if that's something you've been trying and you're getting frustrated because you're not getting anywhere. There's a block there on some level. You may have agreed to it. It may be something that is from a previous life. It may be intergenerational poverty consciousness. It can be a lot of things. So if you are trying to use the law of attraction and it's not working for you, it's time to delve into your Akashic records, into your deeper consciousness, connecting with your higher self and finding out what's blocking this from coming into my life. So there's more to it than is being taught out there. So just being aware of that. And being aware that when you do manifest and you're using your psychic energy, that needs to be replaced. Creativity isn't just about writing, painting, knitting, sculpting, whatever, artwork. Creativity is about manifesting. So when we get into our creative selves, when we do paint or we do any project or hobby that takes us into a space where we lose track of time, we've gone into the female energy. We're bringing in that abundance. The universe sees, oh, there's a channel open there, and starts delivering things to us. That if we're working, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, we're pushing energy out constantly and we're not opening up that space, that creative space for the universe to go, there you go. So a lot of false information out there about you have to work hard to do well in life. That's not the case. You need to be focused with what you're working on. You could have a business where if you go into 20% of that business of focused and stop wasting energy on the other 80%, that turns your business around. This is what consciousness coaching goes into. It goes into the programs that are in your matrix that you're not even aware of. Ancestral things. Past life, previous lives, not really the past, the present, the future, all exist in this moment. And also going into healing the past. When we live in a field of consciousness that is one thing. So there isn't really, if you're going into the past, your intention needs to be on healing the past, the present and the future, the whole thing, and the spaces in between. So be careful of the linear thinking of the human mind. When you get into this and when you're raising your consciousness, you start to think, reconnect with your spirit, your soul, and that expansiveness of your consciousness and how brilliant and wide your understanding is. Thinking like a human keeps you small. Thinking like a spirit remember who you are. You can change things when you understand energy being used, replenishing energy, then it's not just simple as people are making out. There has to be energy brought back into your system in order for you to use that energy to move forward. We get a lot of the energy from the sun, so there's a lot of information out there now about the importance of being in the sun. I go and sit in the sun even in the winter, and I pull that energy in and I use it for the highest good, generally. I don't manifest, I don't need to manifest. What I need comes to me when I need it. And what I have learned is to trust in my higher self, that my higher self's got this. I'm just having this experience and being the observer and staying neutral, staying in the middle and allowing my higher self, trusting in my higher self that my higher self's got me, it's got my back. It knows what I want, it knows where I want to get to, it knows my highest potential and is constantly trying to guide me towards that highest potential. But every now and then it may have to sidetrack me into something else because there's something down that road that I need to learn, or something down that road that's giving me clues to what's in my consciousness, my collective consciousness of all my lifetimes and my ancestral lineage and my soul lineage and my human lineage. We've got two, soul and human, and giving me clues that what I need to find in my cubes of consciousness, in my memories, in my pixels of the past, so that I can switch those programs back to neutrality and move forward. So it's not always a straight line. Sometimes we get taken down a dark road because there's a lesson down there, or there's karma down there, something we need to learn down there. And by learning, it's not sitting in the classroom and the teacher, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Learning means understanding, seeing the message, seeing the block, figuring it out. That's what learning means, learning the lesson really means. It's not about judgment. And our higher self will give us messages in our dreams as well that can give us a clue of what we need to work on next and things like that. So there's a lot to consider, and I know there's a lot of people out there at the moment that are self-employed and trying to, attract money and wealth and going down the law of attraction road, and I also realise it's not working for a lot of you. So maybe learn to meditate, learn to connect with your higher consciousness and tap into that higher consciousness and find out what the blocks are, and then you know what you need to heal and what you need to release in order to get to where you need to be. Okay? That's all I've got to share with you this week, guys. The good news is my new podcast is available, our new podcast, Talking Timelines. It's on Podbean, and you'll find us on YouTube as well at Talking Timelines. And we're talking about all the different timelines. So lots of different subject matters we're going to be sharing with people from different perspectives. There's 4 of us have come together, and it's an amazing team of women, and they're all awake. They're just all awake at different levels. We've all been watching and learning from different platforms over the last 20 odd years. So check out our new podcast, and I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.